Welcome. My name is Sharon, and today I want to talk to you about creating a bucket list. My goal is to have you walk away from our time together today feeling inspired and considering just what you would want to include on your bucket list. But first, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil, or anything to write with, really. So pause right now if you don't have that and go and grab something. Got it? Good. Now let's get started. This land that we live on in the country we call Canada was here long before Canada had a name. And I'm grateful today to be presenting to you from the Treaty 7 territories. So I want to acknowledge the people that make up the Treaty 7 territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Kenai, Piikani, and Siksika, as well as Tsuut'ina First Nation, Stoney Nakoda First Nation, and the people of the Métis Nation, Region 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 things for your bucket list. Consider these, I must insist. Number 1. The challenge. Demand satisfaction. You must look into your heart before you take some action. Number 2. Take some time. Clear your head. Make some space. Meditate. Be authentic. Give yourself some grace. Number 3. Think of all the things that you want to do. Some political, some human relational. Then there's structural. Believe me, this is true. Finally, symbolic. Yes, that one too. Number 4. These perspectives. Number 4. And their names. Commonly known as organizational frames. Some ways for you to think. They give a point of view. You'll find they blend into each other. That's just what they do. 5. Political. Got power in your eye. A sense of competition. They're a race you want to try. Number 6. Structural. A design or a chart or a piece of art. Build something that will touch your heart. 7. Human relations, interacting a sensation, how feelings inform the situation. Number 8. Symbolic, a culture you create. Time to find meaning in the list you make. The Eiffel Tower, Statue of Liberty, her. Can we agree that travels truly are adventures? Sure. And they're symbolic and build relationships? Is that true? Are they political? Oh yeah. And structural too? Hang on, how many of these frames intersect at the same time and overlap? Let's check a map. Number 9. Look into your heart and mind's desire. Summon all the courage you require. Then list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 10 items. Aim higher.
So what exactly is a bucket list? Well, a bucket list is a life goals list. It's all the things that you want to do before your time on this earth is over. It includes so many things, from a home renovation project to a cabin in the woods. Maybe you want to run a marathon or even an Ironman triathlon. It could be seeing the great works of art and theater. It could be visiting with long-lost friends and family, or seeing beautiful places all over the world, trying new adventures, new foods, or trying out a new skill, maybe learning a new instrument. Literally any goal or dream you have can be part of this list. But first, to truly flesh out what you want to include, it's important to first take pause, to try and reach that extra dimension where your true desires can be found, often covered up by the hustle and bustle of daily life. Take that time to meditate, to be one with your body, mind, and soul, to truly listen to what's inside. This can be accomplished in many ways. There are different apps you can find for your phone. There are coaches that can guide you and show you how to be mindful and meditate. There's groups you can join. There's books you can read. There's so many different ways, but including some kind of meditation each day, even if just for 5 minutes, a time to truly take pause, to clear your mind, so that you can hear what it's really trying to tell you. Another thing that helps with a bucket list is to find yourself a journal. You could also work online or find a group to chat with. But I know for myself, there's just something special about having that physical paper and pen in which I can not jot down my notes. So this means going to a bookstore or a stationery store and hanging out and just looking for that perfect notebook to write in. And now, just what is this list? Well, you can look at your life goals and dreams and aspirations in a lot of different ways. And what we're going to do for the purpose of today is break down these bucket list items through the different lenses of organizational framing. What can work for an organization to help you understand what's going on there can also be used to help you in compiling a bucket list. The political frame we're going to refer to as races. This is a frame that is about competition and power and the differences in power and competition. So we'll call it races. Structural. These are how things are set up, the foundation, the very house, that kind of thing. We're going to call this spaces. Human relations or human resources. This is all about the relationships between people and between the things that you do. We're going to call this one faces. And finally, the symbolic frame. This is going to be places. It's visiting places or doing things that let you experience culture and what it is that ties different people and organizations together. So let's start with races. There's all kinds of items that could be about competition and power, and training for a race definitely fits within those. It could be you're looking to do your first ever 5-kilometer race, or a marathon, or a bike race, or a triathlon. There's no limit to what you can set your mind to do. Power also plays into this frame. Perhaps you're thinking of doing a TED Talk or writing a book. Any of these things would be admirable goals and totally worthy of the political frame. Only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. T.S. Eliot. Next is the structural frame. These are the spaces. When it comes to structure, it can mean many things on a bucket list. It could be a backyard renovation, like this pizza oven that's currently under construction in my yard. It might be building a deck or remodeling some part of the house. Whatever it is, it could be that dream that you have to improve the space in which you live, to improve your home. Or it could be something like a climbing gym. The structure there is set up for you. The problems are ready to solve. All you have to do is figure it out. They've built that into the structure, and when you triumph over it, it lets you experience that feeling of reaching a goal. Or what about something like paragliding? All the rules and procedures that are in place are there to help take you safely as a human body and let it fly. Home should be an anchor, a port in a storm, a refuge, a happy place in which to dwell, a place where we are loved and where we can love. Marvin J. Ashton. Human relations. Faces. This can come in many forms, and with a bucket list, it could include taking in a fabulous musical like Hamilton or Wicked or Rent, or so many others. You witness firsthand the unfolding of a story filled with all sorts of human relationships. Characters who try to triumph over their adversities, sometimes successful, sometimes not. Or maybe it's a shared activity, climbing to the top of a mountain with your best friend and taking that selfie to show the world that you guys made it. Or maybe it's getting together with family or friends you don't see too often, building those relationships through shared experiences and memories. Already you can see how these frames overlap and intermingle. To engender empathy, and create a world using only words is the closest thing we have to magic. Lin-Manuel Miranda. The symbolic, places, traveling. It's the ultimate way to experience different cultures. And through every experience we have, we become changed people who have absorbed the many experiences we seek out. And there's no shortage of places to go. And oftentimes, these experiences include new languages, new food, new culture. Through this, we also build relationships, and we see structures firsthand. Once again, the frames just keep overlapping with one another. And in the words of William Langwish, so much of who we are is where we have been. They all come together. Pretty much any item on a bucket list can be looked at through the different organizational frames. And often by seeing these different perspectives, you see your goals and dreams have a richer and deeper level, combining the different needs and wants you might not even realize you have until you start to consider these different perspectives. Visiting a new place, you get to explore structures, you see the politics, you see the relationships that form, possibly with people that you've never met before, and the symbolism through the culture that you experience. The frames are always interweaving, and through these different bucket list items, you really do get a chance to experience it all. But how do you go about creating this? I'm going to give you a quick lesson in creating a bucket list. I know it can seem a bit overwhelming to write down all the things that you've ever wanted to do ever, but hey, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So for this example, I'll show you what my family has done. It all began as a Father's Day gift, actually, when both my boys were little. We created one for a summer, using a margarine container and some clothespins and some construction paper. We wrote down all these different ideas, and some surprising things happened. A lot of things, actually. And we continued this summer bucket list tradition each year. One year, we found this Eiffel Tower statue with all these little hooks on it. I'm sure it wasn't designed to be a bucket list, but hey, it was gonna work for us. With the tower as a starting point, we created little tags and little clothespins, all labeled with things we wanted to do that summer. My kids take this very seriously. Everyone gets to include some items, and there's a lot of them. There's places to go, people to see, things to do, recipes to try, food trucks to find, races to run, sketches to make, and whatever else we can dream up. And each time, as we finish one, it comes off the tower and gets tossed into the bucket underneath. It's fun, and it's a visual reminder every day to make the most out of our summer. Sadly, we don't quite get through all of them. Mars was on the list, but it was a bit out of our budget and kind of out of the realm at the moment, but soon. But we do a lot, and that's really cool. Having that visual reminder there every day really makes you want to try and get them done. Take, for example, sketching. Every day for a month, that was on there. And we totally got into it, each day creating a new space, sometimes inspired by other items we were completing. Like this guy. It's a sketch of a stuffy that my little guy has, who came with us on our summer adventure. Or the Harry Potter book that we were reading each night before bed. Or this sketch of fear. All I had was the word fear to go from, so I drew this guy from inside out, because that's what I thought of when I thought of fear. Although it could have been the tarantula that I drew on another day as well. And my kids were part of this as well. Here's my little guy's attempt at drawing recipe, where he drew out the ingredients that we put in our homemade mueslis. Ah, my favorite, drawing a coffee, like this one. My husband made it for me one day with a tiny little raspberry heart on top. It just needed to be sketched. But the whole summer was filled with adventure. What did the summer look like? Well, it looked like walking on the glacier at the Columbia ice fields and back bridges on the glass floor. It was kayaking on a lake that had sea turtles or turtles in it, and biking the rails to trails from Kimberley to Cranbrook and back with monkey fries for dessert, because it's the best reward after a hard bike ride. And walks with cloaks and wands, and trying out pie milkshakes where a piece of pie is blended right into the shake. I can still taste the cherry. It was summer adventures with grandparents exploring the mountains and lakes. It was the ambulance chasers run with the boys dressed in their turnout fire gear, or the Mother's Day run we had done before that. And it was trying a new recipe on a camping trip for Liege waffles and cooking them over the campfire on this tiny little waffle iron. And oh my goodness, they were so good. And it was Beakerhead, checking out gigantic light-up bunny blow-ups, complete with lightsaber flashlights, of course. It truly was a summer of races, spaces, faces, and places. With all the items we checked off, we included all the organizational frames. And when you actually analyze a lot of the items from different perspectives, you start to realize just how interwoven all these frames are. The places we went with the faces we hung out with, doing races and creating new spaces. So write down those dreams. Remember that pencil and paper that I asked you to grab? It's time to bring that out. I want you to take just 1 minute and think of at least 4 things you want to do. One that would match each of the frames. Something political, structural, human relational, and symbolic. Or maybe it's just one dream that encompasses all the frames. By writing it down, it already sticks in the mind in a different way and will be there. But take that time now. You have 1 minute. What are those dreams? What are those ideas? Where is it you want to go? What is it you want to learn how to do? What is it you want to build? Who do you want to see that you haven't seen in a while? Write down those goals. Thank you so much for your time today. Now, stop dreaming about your bucket list and start living it. Annette White.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 things for your bucket list. Consider these, I must insist. Number 1, the challenge. Demand satisfaction. You must look into your heart before you take some action. Number 2, take some time, clear your head, make some space. Meditate, be authentic, give yourself some grace. Number 3, think of all the things that you want to do. Some political, some human relational. Then there's structural. Believe me, this is true. Finally, symbolic. Yes, that one too. Number 4. These perspectives. Number 4. And their names. Commonly known as organizational frames. Some ways for you to think. They give a point of view. You'll find they blend into each other. That's just what they do. 5. Political. Got power in your eye. A sense of competition. They're a race you want to try. Number 6. Structural. A design or a chart or a piece of art. Build something that will touch your heart. 7. Human relations, interacting a sensation, how feelings inform the situation. Number 8. Symbolic, a culture you create. Time to find meaning in the list you make. The Eiffel Tower, Statue of Liberty, her. Can we agree that travels truly are adventures? Sure. And they're symbolic and build relationships? Is that true? Are they political? Oh yeah. And structural too? Hang on, how many of these frames intersect at the same time and overlap? Let's check a map. Number 9. Look into your heart and mind's desire. Summon all the courage you require. Then lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 10 items. Aim higher.
Okay, just a little bit of a postscript here. So in presenting this, I took a bit of a risk, and I hope that it actually matches to kind of what you were looking for, in the sense that this is a presentation that could possibly be used in consulting or similar that way, and that I was able to take some of the learnings and apply them to a totally different situation than just an organization. Thank you very much, Randeep and Patrick. It's been a wonderful course, and I am so grateful that I chose to take this and be part of such an incredible group of people with incredible instructors. So thank you so much for what you guys did for us. And I am so glad to be walking away having learned so much in such a positive and supportive environment. Thank you.